And welcome everybody to part 25 of the Pokemon Gold walkthrough. Starting off, as you can see, we have Wesley of Wednesday, talking to him, getting the black belt. To be honest, when I recorded this part yesterday, I completely forgot about the fact that I was recording it on a Wednesday. And so when I realized that during my test playthrough, I was like, oh my god, I need to go up and make sure I get the black belt so that people know where to get that. Again, Wesley of Wednesday. And I am heading up to, during the test play, and when I talked to Wesley of Wednesday, I picked up a hidden item that I completely forgot about. But here's where you're going to get it, just, showing you guys, because I had already picked it up during my test playthrough. Lake of Rage, easy stats to go through while you're surfing. 9% Magikarp, 10% Gyarados. Fishing, Old Rod, 100% Magikarp, Good Rod, 90% Magikarp, 10% Gyarados, Super Rod, 70% Magikarp, 30% Gyarados, and then finally the shiny Red Gyarados that we are going to be facing here in a bit after we get away from this Magikarp that just appeared out of nowhere. It's amazing how during test plays you never have any kind of troubles, and then once you actually start recording yourself, that's when all the curses all of a sudden come into play. This would be some people's first time ever seeing what a shiny Pokemon is. I do believe that, I cannot recall if there were any shiny Pokemon in Generation 1. I think there was, but whether or not that's true or not, I can't remember off the top of my head, because Generation 1 wasn't, the generation I started out with. I started off with Gen 2 with Pokemon Gold. I believe this generation was the first one to introduce the shiny Pokemon, but I could be wrong. But for some people, this would be the first one they would ever run into, such as myself. I never had any luck with running into shiny Pokemon, which is weird because I ended up running into the Pokemon with the Pokevirus before I ran into a shiny Pokemon. But for some of us, the Red Gyarados is the very first shiny we ever ran into. Whether you capture him, defeat him, or apparently even if you flee from the Red Gyarados, you get yourself the Red Scale, which I believe if you take it to Mr. Pokemon, I think it's Mr. Pokemon you give it to, he gives you something. Now, another thing that you can, another hidden item you can get here is kind of hidden. If you go fishing and capture a Magikarp that is, what is the size it needs to be? If you capture a Magikarp that is, I think it's 41.9 inches, and take it to the fishing guru on the right side of the lake in the little hut of his, he'll give you a full restore for it. Not a full restore. What am I talking about? He'll give you an ether for it. It's kind of like a little side thing you do just for the fun of it. It's kind of like catching the fish in Zelda. Okay, I can't believe I forgot to cut this part out. You guys are going to see me healing my Pokemon just to get all the PP back. I seriously cannot believe that I completely forgot to cut that out. And I'm not going to cut it out during then. You guys are just going to have to watch it. I was kind of in a bit of a rush to do this. NFL schedule just came out today, and I was kind of occupied with checking out who's going to be playing what, seeing what days my Seahawks play, and it kind of took up a big portion of my time, and I'm just now getting to the actual audio recording of it. And I guess I just kind of looked over the fact that I've healed my Pokemon, forgot to take care of it. But the majority of what we're going to be doing in this part of the video, other than taking care of the Red Gyarados, is starting off in the Team Rocket hideout here in Mahogany Town. Just so you guys know, the Team Rocket Grunt's going to be mentioning it himself. Those statues that are in there, every time you walk in front of one, you're going to have to fight two Team Rocket Grunts. One of them that'll have a Drowsy and a Zubat, and the other one will have a Rattata, Zubat, and Grimer, I believe. I could be wrong. Every single one, and it's the exact same team with the exact same levels, and it's kind of monotonous. So after my first battle with the statues, I cut out the rest because it just gets a little bit too boring. I actually kind of made this part a little bit shorter than I thought it would, but whatever. We only go through the first part of it's the hideout, but I know you consider them dungeons, because that's just for everyone that's played Zelda, that's just immediately what you think of when you go into a long, mazy kind of area as a dungeon. 3 parts to it: Basement 1, 2, and 3. We're only going to be taking care of Basement 1 today because, again, I thought the video was going to be a lot longer than it really ended up being, but I'd much rather, I couldn't take care of the whole entire hideout in one part that would be under 20 minutes. It would go on for probably about 25 minutes. It's not an extremely big dungeon, but there is a number of battles to go through, and it would just take a while. So I decided to cut it in 2 parts, taking care of this part right now. Next one will be taken care of next week, where I take care of basement number 2 and basement number 3. Not too many hidden items in this whole entire hideout. One of them will be showing up here in basement number 1, and I think the other one is basement number 2 or 3. I can't remember which one it is. It doesn't really matter because we'll get to there when we get to there. Again, the main thing about the basement, area number 1 specifically, is the statues. Going against the same 2 grunt members, have the same lineup. That's not even a little easy, extremely easy to defeat. There's also the trap area. Now, something I never realized, okay, looking it up, the trap area in Generation 2, this one, you're always going to run to a Pokemon no matter what area you take. However, in Heart Gold, Soul, Silver, they actually updated, so there's a path you can take where you don't run to a single one. The Pokemon that, these are the only Pokemon you can run into this area, because obviously there's no wild grass anywhere. The trap areas are the only ones where you can capture some Pokemon. One of them is a Coughing. The other one is Geodude, and another is what's the other one? I can't remember the third one off the top of my head. All 3 of which have self-destruct. So basically what the trap is, it's not so much like you're facing a challenging Pokemon. What it is that every single one of them has the move self-destruct and explosion. And probably not explosion, they probably only have self-destruct. But because of that, every single time you step on one, you better make sure that you have a way to destroy it immediately, or else you're going to be taking a bit of a hit. Voltorb. Voltorb is the third one, so it's Coughing, Voltorb, and Geodude. Those are 3 that you can run into the trap area. What I ended up doing was just taking the area that had all the Coughings, because obviously, as you can see, I have Girafarig that I'm using, and so with his Confusion, Psychic ability working so well against Poison, I decided to go against Coughing to make it a little bit easier. I cut every single one of them out, and the only reason why I go through it is because of the fact that the hidden item on this area is in the trap floor. So there you go. Just a little bit of a catch up here. 2 Pokemon I grinded out before doing this video. Obviously, Girafarig. He was level 15 or so when I caught him. I grinded him up to level 28, and I didn't grind him any higher than that because I knew I'd be using him for a majority of this area, because Team Rocket likes to use a lot of poison types, so obviously it's the easier way to take care of it is by using the psychic types, basically. And I also went out of my way to upgrade Lapras. I want to say 2 or 3 levels. I think he's around level 27 to 29, something like that, just to try and keep my whole entire team even like I do. Now, the funny thing is about this Team Rocket Grunt, 2 things are funny about him. One is that he has 4 Pokemon. All are Rattatas, all level 16, I believe. But by the end of the battle, he will outright tell you that the floor is a trap door, and I think he says something about Kaboom. Now, I don't know why I never noticed. I can understand why I never noticed as a kid, because I don't pay attention to small details like that as a kid. But obviously, when he says Kaboom, he's talking about the fact that every single Pokemon in there has the move Self-Destruct. And I swear to God, every single Pokemon in there only uses Self-Destruct. I don't care what other move it has. I've never seen one use something other than Self-Destruct. It's just what they do. Not much else. Going back even a little bit, and a little bit off topic, because I've said everything I wanted to say about this video, because the fact that there are no stats in this area. I said earlier that the NFL schedule was released, and I can't wait to see how my Seahawks were doing. Anyone that tries to claim as me being a bandwagon fan or a fair weather fan can go fuck yourself, because I've been a fan of them since I was born in the great city of Seattle, Washington. And obviously I was a fan by default when I was a kid. It wasn't until around high school when I came really interested in the game, because I used to be a hockey player, so hockey was more the thing of what I would pay attention to. Then once the strike happened, I kind of got more into football, and that's when I saw Seattle as a team that I can appreciate on the fact that I actually know football. Not just saying that I'm a fan of Seattle because I'm from Seattle. Well, no, back in high school I could say I'm a fan of Seattle because I'm from Seattle and because I know the team and, they're my team. So, anyone that tries to claim that, oh, you're jumping on the bandwagon like everyone else is, which, trust me, it is ridiculous. The number of people that jumped on Seattle's bandwagon is annoying to see, especially because they try and act like, they've been fans forever, even though they really haven't been, but whatever. Anyways, this is where the part ends. When you don't need to go back to re-heal if Self-Destruct did take care of you a little bit, because Lance here will heal up your Pokemon and move on, and we shall as well in the next part of the video.